family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Man, y'all know what time it is. T-Law got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go in that field.
Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
They made a major mistake when they made T-Law go to the spirit of the sky, to the oracle of the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger now has the scepter in his hand, and he been to put every critic to rest. Man, last night I done marinated 2 turkeys. I got my cherry wood getting ready for my smoker. Just got off from work, off Pritchard Roll. I'm going to bake me 2 Cornish hens. My special recipe, I call it a Mediterranean Cornish hen. I'm going to top it off with my homemade Long Island iced tea. And I'm only going to top it off with 1 red top of Coca-Cola. The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, welcome in, everybody, live from the Guggen Open Golf Tournament, 18th Annual. We're out at Hidden Hills Golf and Country Club, and no Tony Smith today. He's on vacation all week. Hope he is enjoying himself. I'm Mike Dempsey. We will get to Dylan Denmark, or if that is your name, Dylan. I'm not sure at this point in time, but E.T. has popped up here to join me. E.T., the higher you get up in stature, the lower the temperature is for your show, right? Because they put me inside with the AC, which is very nice, and I heard you guys had to kind of struggle out there today.
Out there barbecuing.
A little barbacoa action going on, man. But it's a gorgeous day. You know, I don't mind hot. Hot beats rainy to
Absolutely.
me when it comes to golf. So the Guggen Open Golf Tournament, what do they have you doing out here?
I'm doing a chipping contest. So all the participants will come to the area that I'm at, and we'll be chipping away and for your chance to win some Twin Peaks gift cards and our burning grills.
All right. Well, good. Now, I gotta recap the weekend. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on is I told Dylan, you know, he's kind of like my son, my nephew.
I like that boy.
And I said, Juicy J was playing, as I knew, and I
Bears will make him dance.
I try to live through Dylan vicariously a little bit, and I said, if you end up going to Juicy J, he goes, I got nobody to go with, man. I'm probably not going to go. I said, if you go, I will subsidize your ticket.
Okay.
I said, how much? First, I got to know how much tickets are. He goes, probably about $40. And I said, all right, if you go, I'll subsidize your ticket. So I played with him, played golf on Saturday. That's the last we'll talk about that round.
Okay.
Right? And he said, you got the hookup, so you guys rolled out to the Juicy J show on Friday.
Well, when things come through Jacksonville, Florida, a lot of the things come through my desk. You know what I'm saying?
I do know.
So when Dylan was like, hey, man, Juicy tonight. I say, oh, you trying to go? He's like, yeah, you going? I was like, yeah, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to holler at my people, and then I'm going to let you know. I'm like, all right, cool. We ended up going. I said, hey, Dylan, there might be a dress code at this venue. I'm not sure, but just make sure you're in regulations. Everything else, we straight. Cool. We slid to Juicy J.
Dress code. I mean, he's the guy who wore a bright red shirt to Graham's black tie wedding.
Yes,
so
yes.
Dylan, did you adhere to any kind of dress code? Like, what kind of dress code is required for a Juicy J show? What are we talking about? Shirt?
I looked at the website. They didn't have specifics for a dress code, so I just wore some shorts and a polo, golf polo.
And you fit right in, right?
Yes, sir.
I take it. Now. Sometimes 1010XL out in the wild, right? People, I'll get that, I'll say something like in a grocery store, and somebody will hear that voice and they'll go, they're trying to figure out.
Right, yep.
I know that voice from somewhere, right? So you got E.T., you're one of one, right? Who you are, right?
I like to think so.
There's no confusing you with anybody, in my opinion. So
I like to think that.
You saw somebody at the club who knew you. Is this how did it go down that they said, oh, is this so-and-so from the station that you're with?
So we were in the section that we were just hanging out at, and I think somebody heard my voice. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Somebody heard my voice, and they saw, I think the person that we were with was like, yeah, they work at 1010. So they saw me, and then they saw Dylan next to me.
Right.
And I think at that point, they automatically associated Dylan with somebody else.
And who was that somebody else?
Are you RJ?
Oh!
Jaguars Today.
Dylan, how did you take that? Is that a compliment
my man
or
goes,
what?
RJ. I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, I'm Dylan. He goes, wait, RJ's black. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, how would you know if you just hear his voice on the radio? You don't know. People think RJ sounds like Hacker.
Yep.
I don't hear it.
Yep.
I don't personally hear it. Maybe it's the cadence, but I don't hear it. So RJ was thrilled when we let him know this morning.
He said apparently the same situation happened to him in Houston. Somebody thought he was somebody else. He's like, do you not listen to the station? Oh, man, it was so funny. He was so disappointed.
Did he get confused for Lance Zierlein? Was that what it was back in the day when he was working with him? Maybe it was. I don't know. But anyway, that's okay. We're all in the family. We love RJ. RJ's an awesome dude.
Love him, yeah.
Super smart guy.
Looked out for me this morning.
Great at what he does. He does root for too many basketball teams. But I'll leave that alone for now. That's as far as I need to go on that. We got the Jags on the field today for OTAs.
Yes,
so
sir.
That's pretty exciting, and I heard you guys talking about the combo of Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, what they could one day grow into, and I agree with you. I mean, talent-wise, opportunity-wise, they could be the best pair of receivers in the National Football League. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time.
It will, but I think he got all that potential, and we already know what Brian Thomas could do based off of what he did last year.
Absolutely. Brian Thomas should be probably talked about more than he has been this offseason. You can't find anybody that's not in love with Malik Neighbors. Go look at Brian Thomas's numbers side by side with Malik Neighbors. And don't tell me about the quarterback situation, because Mac Jones was the guy here for the last month and a half of the season. So we got the golf tournament. How's your game coming along, by the way?
It's coming along. It's getting better. I think my very first full score was like a 120, and then my last score was about a 111. And so it's creeping down. It's creeping down.
First time you break 100 legit, break 100, you'll remember that round. I shot 97 at this kind of a junker of a course in DeLand where I grew up called Southridge. No water on the course at all, which is nice. Not a single water hazard.
I can't lose no ball.
Shot 97 that day, and it was a very memorable one. Obviously, I still remember about 30 years later. But we'll see today. We're out at Hidden Hills, so we got the Guggen Scramble going on. E.T., this question of the day that we're going to ask today is right up your alley because you're such a personable guy.
Okay.
You're a people person. You're out there. By the way, you can check out E.T. and me right now, looking like the twins that we are, right? We
got the memo.
If you're on the YouTube channel, the YouTube feed, we're streaming live here from Hidden Hills. We did get the memo on wearing the exact same. This is the best polo.
This is my favorite one.
Right.
We went with the 2020 edition.
The navy blue Guggen Open. This is a 5-year classic now, man.
Yeah.
Bro, I got some in the closet.
Me too. I got like 2016.
I
know you probably got some.
I might have a 2012, I think, something like that. I got some old ones. This is 18th annual that we're doing here. So we've been doing this for quite a long time. Yeah, I've got a whole rainbow collection of colors.
Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv. That's red, green, all those.
Red, orange, yellow, blue, green, indigo, violet.
What he just said. All right, so today we're asking people your Chad and Sandy real estate question today. It's one we ask every year, but times change, right? So, E.T., you're a golfer now.
Talk to your boy.
Okay, so you're going out and you're like, I got this hookup at the stadium course or wherever, right? Because you don't need people want to play with you if you play at a goat farm, right? So, but like for me, I got to invite them. They ask, where we got, and I've had that happen before. And I usually, when I used to get the occasional round at the stadium course, I'd ask, "Are you available for golf this weekend?" And I wouldn't tell them where. And if they're like, "No, man, I can't this weekend," I'm like, "Oh, damn, man, you missed a good one then."
Stadium course is gonna be fun.
You're bumped down to the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
So today, it's E.T. and 3 Jaguars from any era. All right, could be anybody who's worked for the organization, but we're primarily thinking of players. But a lot of people have thrown in like Tom Coughlin. Who are you filling out your foursome with?
I already got my 3.
You got yours.
Easy.
All right, I think I got mine as well. I'll save it. But who do you got?
My favorite of all time, Fred Taylor.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna go with Shad Khan.
Shad Khan's going to be in there.
Shad gonna be in
all
there.
right, what is the conversation? What do you want to know? Hey, all right, Shad. It's just us boys right here. What are you asking Shad?
Shad. Like,
can I get some of that money?
like I did Ancestry.com, and I'm your long lost.
Bro, I'm sorry. I've tried it, all right? I've already tried that route. I tried to get adopted for a few years here. Don't be jumping the line.
And then my third, of course, is the second overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, Travis Hunter.
How do you not want Travis Hunter in your foursome right now, man?
To pick the player.
I don't know if he can swing a club to save his life.
I don't care.
You know what I bet? I bet he can.
He probably can. You see that man dunk a basketball?
Look, I was so proud of you for immediately today when you guys were talking about the best pairs of wide receivers.
Yeah.
Moss Carter immediately comes to mind, right? I mean, especially if you grew up in the last 30 years, whatever, right? So Moss Carter immediately came to mind.
Because Carter was that man before Moss got there. Carter was him. And then Moss came and he took.
Right, and that whole, all he does is catch touchdowns. No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Go look at how many yards Chris Carter piled up. And Jake Reed was no joke as a third option.
Exactly.
Right? No question about it. But when I was a kid, I read this, it was like Sport Magazine. It's defunct now. It was like Dick Schaap's magazine. He put that out for years.
Oh, I was going to say Sporting News.
No, I love Sporting. Sporting News was, to me, is the greatest magazine of all time. At least it was when it was still a thing. But Sport Magazine did a piece on Randy Moss. It was maybe in his rookie year, right after his rookie year, something like that, and talking about what a great athlete he was along the way and how he had done all these things. Like, he tried golf, and by, after a week, he was hitting it 300 yards. Now, I'm not saying he was hitting it dead down the middle, right? But he could he's just one of those guys that no matter what he tried, he was going to be great at it because he had that kind of that makeup. And back, and I've told this story a million times too, Mike Vick read a story about him when he was he might have still been at Virginia Tech, might have just been in the league, and as a little kid he's taking a tennis ball and he's throwing it over his apartment building, over I don't know, maybe 3 stories high.
Still,
I don't know how much.
Crazy.
Right. So he's doing this, and his mom's off at work, and the mom comes home, and the neighbor's out on the stoop, like, "Hey, Mrs. Vick, your son's got a really strong right arm there." Think about it. He ain't right-handed.
Oh, that's right.
He was throwing it with his right arm over and he's left-handed. You know, some people are just like that. You know, you're kind of like that when it comes to broadcasting, man. All right, so chipping contest today, some great prizes. Will you get a chance maybe to commandeer a cart and just be bopping around?
Yes, that's actually in my plans. I don't know if it's in Jack O'Brien's plans to come this, but it's in my plans, so we're going to make that happen.
Shh. All right. You know what? Ask they said better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Correct.
Yeah. So, all right, E.T., I appreciate you swinging by. I'm glad that you took RJ out on Friday night. That was nice for him. And I'm glad you got the hookup, so I didn't have to.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
No. I'll give Dylan some credit, by the way. Dylan, I said, so you went to the show. I said, how much tickets? E.T. hooked me up. I'm like, all right, because my man could have slid a quick 40. It actually was 60, Dad. No, Dylan's my man, and
I like that boy.
We both suffered through a very hot round of bad golf on Saturday. But the good thing is Dylan got to play again yesterday, and he shook it off by having an even worse round.
Even worse.
Oh, my God.
I played so much better Saturday.
Fleming in great shape, though, Dylan?
Oh, excellent shape. Excellent shape.
It's
the home course.
That is your home course.
Yeah.
E.T. and I put a peg in the ground out there in the last couple weeks, so that was fun. All right, Denmark, what do you have to say for yourself this morning other than that? Are you ready to rock for the next
ready to roll,
hours?
man. Ready to roll.
All right. No Tony Smith. We'll survive out here. We're live at Hidden Hills. We've got a great view, E.
Oh, great.
The sun's not beating down on me. I invite you to come up and enjoy my air conditioning anytime you like over the next couple of hours. I can't speak for Helmets and Heels if you're invited in to what are we in, the Turnberry room or the one of those rooms? They've got the Muirfield room. They're all named after famous golf courses over in Scotland and Great Britain.
I like that
whole area.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Sure. Why not? If you're buying, because apparently you got the hookup for everything. All right. So today, your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. You can hit us up in a variety of ways. You can do it on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat. You can see ET for another, 30 seconds or so before he disappears. Go rewind and watch him again. He's well worth the viewing. And also hit us up on social media today at MD_1010XL. At 1010XL Denmark.
I need some Girl Scout cookies.
You don't know what he's going to come up with. Man. He needs some Girl Scout cookies, man. Who doesn't want a good thin man?
I haven't heard that one.
You haven't? Oh, my gosh, man. You need to listen to Jaguars Today more regularly, sir.
I got to have them cookies, baby.
I love it, man. And at IME to the T as well. Somebody. Come on, somebody. What do you got coming up? You got anything with your foundation?
Oh,
what are you
E to the T time. So once we get through the Google, I'll talk about a little bit more about E to the T time, which is my golf tournament. It's in honor of my foundation, which basically brings awareness to the less fortunate, and I'm able to provide scholarship for students who want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? So that's coming up June 27th. But let's get through this Google first.
All right, you're awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I love ET. Who doesn't love them? Some Emmanuel Valorant.
I need some Girl Scout cookies.
Hey, baby. We'll come back. We're going to get into an issue that could really significantly impact the Jacksonville Jaguars and their postseason chances, at least for the foreseeable future, and what the NFL owners are going to be deciding on this week in that regard. Brian Sexton at the bottom of the hour going to join me to preview OTAs for the Jags. Hayes Carline in hour number 2. You've heard from ET. Dylan Denmark's here along with me. I'm Mike Dempsey, live at Hidden Hills for the 18th annual 1010XL Guggen Golf Tournament right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I need some Girl Scout cookies.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. There's an energy and drama to play-by-play sports.
This crowd, a big factor.
You never know what's going to happen.
Wow!
Feel the energy on 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Hayes Carline here. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise Free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter. And you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor climate-controlled showrooms. It's cool, comfortable, hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Hello, I'm attorney Malcolm Anthony. Being charged with domestic violence can turn your life upside down. If you're in trouble, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
It's a Dreamfinders Homes Monday.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet. Even my family is obsessed. And with Father's Day right around the corner, why not surprise Dad with his own custom garage workspace? Tool storage, workbenches, the whole works. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes Dad's. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. Visit closetsbydesign.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hacker here with an opportunity. Drop 40 pounds by the 4th. You can do it. I dropped my first 40 in 6 weeks. Hayes did it, Dempsey, Ballou, and thousands of others have done it. 40 by the 4th. with Awaken180weightloss.com.
If fishing is in your DNA, hop in the boat with Captain Kevin. It's the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated Five-Star Ballpark. The Jumbo Shrimp take on the AAA St. Louis Cardinals. Tomorrow is Purr in the Park, followed by Wear It Home Wednesday t-shirt giveaway. Then it's Coors Light Thirsty Thursday and Fireworks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on our first Honey Drippers weekend. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked the homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Bernardino Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Bernardino Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, always the hodgepodge. You never know what you're going to get when you're on a remote, so we'll take some calls if you want to get in, talk Jaguar football in all its many forms this morning. Tony Smith's got the week off. I'm Mike Dempsey, and we're live at the 18th Annual Guggen Golf Tournament, which just got underway in the last 15 minutes or so. So everybody's going to be sweating a few pounds off out on the course today. Dylan, if there's any indication, just from my vantage point, which looks directly out on the driving range here, they're not going to be playing any better than you and I did this weekend, based on some of the warm-ups that I saw today. A lot of ground balls, my friend, but that's the beauty of a scramble. All it takes is one to get the job done. So let's talk a little bit about what the NFL is taking a look at. Now, what I've heard is that this proposal is unlikely to pass this time around, but the NFL owners' meetings are taking place this week up in Minnesota. And the Detroit Lions have proposed, based on last year, when I guess they got scared late in the season when they're playing Minnesota. Minnesota could have stolen the division after Detroit had basically the best record in the NFC all year long, but Minnesota kept pace with them and were right there. And ultimately, Detroit held them off. got the number 1 seed. But as we saw, Minnesota was relegated to being the 5th seed in the playoffs, and they got bounced unceremoniously by the LA Rams in that first round. I think it was like 27-9. They got handled pretty easily. So Detroit has put forth a proposal that winning your division automatically still gets you in the playoffs, but it doesn't help you with seeding. Your seed would be based purely on your record, and therefore, if you're in a division like the AFC South, like the Jaguars in 2022, and they sneak in with a 9-8 record, you have a chance to not only not have a home game, you might be on the road the entirety of the playoffs as a division winner. You could be the 7 seed coming in here, and I just... Dylan, maybe I'm looking a little too closely at what we've got here, because obviously, look, at the peak, the Jags went 14-2 back in '99, and if you take care of your business, you're still going to get rewarded. And they're saying under what they're going to vote on, the likelihood is if there was a tiebreaker, division title would trump anything, including head-to-head. Like if you had a wild card team at 10-7 and a division winner at 10-7, and that wild card team had beaten the division winner in the one matchup they had that year, the division winner would still get precedence over them. It would just be pure record, tie goes to the division winner. Okay, so that makes sense. And if there are, I guess, multiple division winners with the same record that are tied there, then it's going to be a different story. I guess, Dylan, I grew up caring more about baseball than anything when I was a young sports fan, and I'll never forget, you go back to 1980, and the Yankees won 103 games. Baltimore won 100 that year. You know what they got? Thanks for playing. That's what they got. They got nothing. They got no postseason whatsoever, had the second most wins in all of Major League Baseball. Now, baseball's always been more like that until the late 60s. We're talking about you won the pennant if you had the best record in the league, and that was it, and you went straight to the World Series. So it's always been a bigger field in football, but I just feel like, man, look, I'd love to get to the point where the Jags are ripping off 13, 14-win seasons, but even if they do, they'll still get that reward because as it is now, the number 1 seed, you're going to get home field throughout. You're going to get that one bye if you can become that consistently good team or peak in that 1 year. I just don't like the idea, Dylan, of this fan base looking at the prospect of winning the AFC South and not even getting to celebrate their team with one home playoff.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. I mean, when I saw this Friday, I was thinking, is this more of they think more of, and this is Detroit speaking because they're the one that proposed it.
That's
is it
right.
because if they are the good wild card team, they would rather be a higher seed, or if it's because of the teams that have been not as good, the division winners from the AFC South, and we've seen the NFC East a couple of years ago with Washington. They hosted a playoff game. They were 7-9 during the COVID year, and they hosted Tampa. Remember Brady? That was a tougher game with Taylor Heineke at quarterback in Washington. I wonder if it's because they think the division winners are pulling them down, or is it because, hey, if we're a wild card team and we've won 10, 11, 12 games, we should be a 2 or 3 seed?
I think that's what it is. I think Detroit got it scared into them last year. Like, they're looking up like, all of a sudden, if we blow this late in the year, we're at potentially the second best record in all of football, and we're going to have to go on the road as a 5 seed. Does that seem unfair? Yeah, but that's kind of the cyclical nature of the National Football League. I think there should be a bigger reward than simply getting into the postseason for winning your division. I absolutely do. So, again, I'm looking at it through a Jaguar lens here, and maybe we get to the point where we're perennially not putting ourselves in the conversation of barely sneaking in as a division winner with a low record. But again, there's no downside to it. Go 14-3, and you're going to be the number 1 seed regardless, or the number 2 seed probably at worst in that scenario. I just don't like the idea of you work all that season long. There's so much importance put on those divisional games. You can win your division. Yes, it gives you the automatic entry into the postseason. But look, personally, I don't think the playoffs should be a glide path that the best teams have the easiest path to get there. You earn it to some degree, but isn't part of the postseason feeling like we may not have the best team, but let's see what kind of draw we have, right? And let's see, oh, you know what? We got a little bit lucky here. We didn't have to face this team. They got knocked off. That's kind of the fun of the playoffs to me. And I don't want to make it so Kansas City or whomever happens to be the team at any given period of time just basically automatically gets to take on, and you could argue, okay, so you're the 7, you get a chance to take on the 2 and knock them off, but you shouldn't have to play them that early, in my opinion. Again, NFL indicating or at least the reporting is it's probably not going to pass this time around. But it's something on the horizon, and, usually these things take a year or two to really get accepted in the NFL's consciousness. They're not making quick, radical changes very often. I really hope that they reconsider before they make this one. But we're all along for the ride as far as what the owners choose to do. All right, coming up next, we've got Brian Sexton, longtime voice of your Jacksonville Jaguars, now senior correspondent over at Jaguars.com. Going to join us and talk about rookie minicamp, his observations from last week, and they're on the field today for OTA's organized team activities. And so we'll get our first glimpse of the full squad out there this afternoon, and we'll get some thoughts on Brian and how the offseason has unfolded. He will join us next. Hayes Carline from the Frangie Show coming up in hour number 2. I am live. Tony Smith on vacation. I'm out at Hidden Hills for the Guggen Open. Dylan Denmark back at World Headquarters. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
And on the 8th day, God created 1010XL. And he was pleased.
It's a miracle! This is outrageous!
But it sounded good. Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. Visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resistol on approved credit.
Skilled trade jobs are booming, so begin your high-pay, high-demand career today through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Their apprenticeship program provides paid training in some of the most highly sought-after skilled trades. Get paid while you train full-time in carpentry, electrical, HVAC, or plumbing. Plus, earn a 10% raise every year, and the classes are 100% tuition-free. Start your new career today and apply this week at nefpaapprenticeship.org.
Jaguars Today.
It's a Dream Finders Homes Monday.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out The Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At The Y summer camps, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
Listening that fits your schedule perfectly.
Absolutely brilliant. Go on demand.
Ad-free shows after the live shows end.
How about that? Channeled by
Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler.
I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
I mean, to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Unlike those big corporate-owned stores, Beard's Diamonds doesn't rely on AI to help you find the right diamond. Beard's Diamonds specializes in DI, Diamond Intelligence. As Town Center's only locally owned jeweler with international connections, Beard's Diamonds is the smart choice for choosing the right jewelry for any occasion. Our Diamond Intelligence comes from years of helping your Jacksonville neighbors and connecting them to beautiful, dazzling diamonds from top designers like Tacori and Verragio. Diamond Intelligence is about finding the diamond that expresses what words can't and leaves her speechless. And Diamond Intelligence is tapping into partners from around the globe to find your true treasure without the middleman markups and bottom-line algorithms. Come experience the local, loyal, and helpful difference of Beard's Diamonds in Town Center, home of Diamond Intelligence. There's nothing artificial about it. Beard's Diamonds, proud to be Jacksonville's jeweler at the St. John's Town Center.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Sexton didn't request this as his walk-up, did he, Dylan? I'm thinking no sleep till Brooklyn,
No
probably
fun.
not. I wouldn't guess, but I have no idea, honestly, what Brian Sexton's musical taste run towards. But he joins us now, the longtime voice of your Jaguars, senior correspondent at Jaguars.com. And fortunately for me, I get to be Brian's co-host on Jaguars pregame shows for the first hour. Brian, what's up, brother?
That will work just fine. I love it. No sleep till Brooklyn.
You like it? Okay,
I love
no
it.
sleep till Brooklyn? Good, good. Where are you, at the
Brooklyn.
Miller Electric Center right now?
I'm on my way to the Miller Electric Center
All
right
right.
now.
Excellent. So OTAs coming up, and no doubt about it, going to be a warm one, Brian, from what I understand out there. Fortunately, I'm in the AC at the moment, but you know, I saw you out there at rookie minicamp, and just curious what your observations are. I understand the setting where we're not getting 11 on 11, we're not getting any contact, but just you still get first impressions. And what were yours?
Well, so I went and spent some time watching Wyatt Milam, the third-round pick, the offensive lineman from West Virginia. And my first instinct is, man, does he look the part? And you've been out there enough. So has Tony. You know, some offensive linemen don't always look the part. Oh, yeah, they may be 6'5", and they may be over 300 pounds, but that doesn't mean they look the part. This guy does. I mean, he's tall, and he's broad shoulders and long arms, and you just see the way he moves. And I'll never forget, in 1997, the Jaguars drafted an offensive lineman from Colorado State named Anthony Cesario. God rest his soul, he died a few years ago in a hunting accident. But I can remember talking to someone coming off the field and saying, hey, who is that guy? And that's your third-round pick. Man, he's terrible. He can't even get out of his stance. And so I always look at the offensive linemen in particular just to see how they move. And I walked away thinking that guy belongs in the starting lineup. I don't care who else you've got. This guy looks like a real player just by his size and his movement abilities. And, you know, he's very decorated from a long career in the Big 12 Conference. I mean, I really liked it. I liked what I saw.
Brian, should all of the offensive linemen of this team be on high alert? Or like Macari and Hainsey being signees by the new regime, are they more safe than some of the incumbents? Or is this truly a wide-open five-spot competition this offseason?
You know what? I think if you go and you look at the roster on Jaguars.com, you will see that every offensive lineman is listed as OL. Not OT for offensive tackle or OG for guard, OG for center. They are all listed as an offensive lineman. I think it tells you everything you need to know about where this offensive lineman is. And I had someone else tell me, if you think you know what the offensive line is going to be, think again. Positions, starters, it's just, I think the whole thing based on the body of work the last couple of years, Mike, they really have been ineffective on third down and 2 yards or short. You choose another adjective, if you will. Ineffective seems like the nicest way to put it. But this has been one of those teams that's at the bottom of the league in converting those critical downs to keep the offense on the field. And it disrupted everything they wanted to do in the passing game. So I think I would be disappointed with a new offense and a new offensive line coach if they didn't just say everything's up for grabs.
Does Anton Harrison rise to the challenge here this offseason, Brian? Whether it's playing left tackle, right tackle, to show that, you know, he is maybe one of the building blocks of the future. He's not a pick by this regime. He had a pretty good rookie season. He took a step back last year. Will the newness here spur him on to greater heights?
Well, I hope so, and I hope he's healthy, right? You remember the shoulder injury he had as a rookie, and he gutted it out and played through it. And then last year he had a couple of lower body, knee, ankle kind of nagging injuries. When you, again, like Wyatt Milam, the first time you saw Harrison, you said, wow, look at that guy. He's got all the measurables, and he moves effortlessly for such a big man. So I would like to see this be that starting over point, that flash point. He's still young. He's only been a 2-year guy here. So hopefully this is it. Because I think if you looked, Mike, and you ranked the offensive linemen in terms of sheer talent from 1 to 10, he would be 1. I think he's the most talented, gifted offensive lineman they have, which means I wouldn't put it out of the possibilities that he becomes your left tackle because I think he's that gifted.
Yeah, what do you think they think about Cole Van Lanen? I'm just curious. I'm not saying that he is necessarily a major threat to start, although if it's wide open, then everyone would have an opportunity to prove their worth on the field. But, Brian, he was the guy that Pro Football Focus rated as one of the best offensive linemen in the preseason last year. The Jags did put the 6th-round tender on him, so they didn't want to let him get away for nothing. So he's back on a 1-year deal. Does he have a chance to play himself into a competition at any spot along the line?
Well, listen, I think if you ask that of Liam Cohen and Sean Serrett, the offensive line coach, they'd say absolutely. Which is what coaches are going to say at this point of the season, right? Every job is up for grabs. But I legitimately believe that everyone is. And, Mike, maybe we talked about it last year when that report came out. But I went to a couple of people in the building, and Tony Baselli, who at that time was, the radio analyst, and I said, "Is this real?" I don't know how to measure the PFF scores. I don't know what they mean. And Doug Peterson and Tony Baselli both looked at me with big wide eyes, and they went, "He had a great training camp last year." And both of them said he was a valuable member of that team, of that group. So I want to say, yes, he has a chance to work his way into the starting lineup because I believe everybody does. I guarantee you he's one of the 10, though. I mean, I think they think that highly of him.
I agree with you. I mean, they've backed it up by putting that tender on him to make sure he couldn't get away. Brian Sexton, senior correspondent over at Jaguars.com, joining me here on Jaguars Today this morning. Brian, obviously Travis Hunter not the only guy we got to look at. Wyatt Milam you talked about seeing out there at camp. And again, we're in a non-competitive type situation, but just, looking at Basil Tutin, you don't have to squint your eyes very much to say, you know what, he's built like a guy who can handle a pretty good workload in the NFL. I thought LaQuint Allen's a little bit high cut, a little kind of skinny legs, but you can see the quickness as well. This is a very competitive position group, is it not? And for just like we're talking about, how wide open do you think it is to top that running back depth chart?
Well, you see the explosiveness when you watch the tape of Tutin at Virginia Tech. And as we get through summer here, hopefully we'll see that same thing from him on the NFL practice field. If we do, I think he's your starter. I mean, Travis Etienne 2 years ago was an 11-touchdown guy, but he's going into the fifth year, the option year, and we know what the value of running backs has become. I mean, outside of Saquon Barkley, obviously. I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be a guy who could be the every down back. Obviously you like Tank and what he can bring from power, but I think there's four rookies, Hunter, Tutin, Milam, and Ransaw, that all could find their way into the starting lineup very early in their career. But because of what Liam Cohen was able to do with a rookie running back last year, transforming the quarterback's performance based on the improvement in the running game, I don't know why Tutin doesn't get a real hard look at just being the starter if he's as explosive as he was in college.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now, the interesting thing, of course, Etienne on the fifth-year option, that contract's fully guaranteed. You're paying him that regardless. Yeah. In that scenario, let's say Tutin shows you he is the guy you need at the top of your depth chart. You've got Allen, you've got Bigsby, who's still got a couple of years left. Is this a let's see if somebody has an injury in training camp type situation, or could you see them rostering four guys?
Listen, I would be open to that because I think that Etienne brings some value. Offensive weapon is probably the best way to describe it, right? I mean, I don't mean to go all Denard Robinson, but I just don't see him as a guy who you're handing the ball off to 5 yards deep in the backfield and asking to run between the tackles. He's done it occasionally and found a seam, but it doesn't appear that he has incredible vision, which you need to run between the tackles. So I'd find a role for him if he's going to be on my team, and then I would find a place for him if I could recoup the draft pick and buy back some of the cap room.
Talking here with Brian Sexton, senior correspondent at Jaguars.com, for a couple more minutes. Brian, on the other side, Jack Kaiser, the guy got some praise from Liam Cohen in his first rookie minicamp. Again, we're talking about the bare bones here, but where does this leave Devin Lloyd, just in your mind? The whole combination of not picking up the fifth-year option, the film he's put out over the first 3 years of his career, the Jaguars linebacker depth chart. What do you see? What is the likelihood that we're seeing the last year of Devin Lloyd in a Jaguar uniform?
Well, I mean, all signs in today's NFL would seem to point to that. His production has been inconsistent. He was heavy last year. He's lost some weight. I think he looks pretty good. We'll see what a new defense does for him. This is that prove-it year. I mean, Devin Lloyd was the Associated Press College Defensive Player of the Year in 2021. And remember, that was the year with all those stud players from Georgia that went in the NFL. Most of them, obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles. So he was, because he had sacks, he had interceptions, he had touchdowns, fumbles forced, fumbles recovered. And he's this gifted athlete, but he just hasn't found a place that fits him yet. So I look at him and think, well, this is your last shot in Jacksonville. You'll get a shot somewhere else because he's obviously physically gifted, and everybody thinks that they can be the one that resurrects a player's career. But I'm interested because I still can't let go of the fact that he was such a productive player in a big conference and just hasn't fit. We'll see what they do with him. If he has a big year, do you let guys like that go? 6'3", 240-pound linebackers who can do a lot of different things. I mean, maybe you have to. I don't know. But I still hold out a little hope that a slimmed-down version and a new defense, maybe he gets it, and maybe the light switch turns on.
Yeah, very possible. Like, if you're really, truly looking at these guys with open eyes, and he has a chance to go out there and show you his value like everybody else. Brian Dillon and I were talking a few minutes ago about something that the NFL owners are going to vote on this week about possibly reseeding the playoffs. In other words, what happened in 2022 with the Jags getting in with a 9-8 record would not guarantee them a home game anymore. They would reseed it based on record alone and may reseed every single round of the playoffs. Obviously, I'm looking at things from a Jaguar point of view. That would have stolen one of the great games in Jaguar history from Everbank Stadium when they defeated the L.A. Chargers. Where do you come down on this, and do you think ultimately the NFL is going to go for this, whether it's this go-round or sometime in the near future?
Well, I do think they'll end up going for it, Mike, because you see how the league is changing and the international flavor of it. I don't think there are many sacred cows left anymore in professional football. And if it drives more interest, more entertainment, the league will obviously do it. Look, they're doing it with everything. Look at what they're doing with uniforms now. I mean, it's just they are embracing that. And so I don't expect that it will stay for very long. I, like you, hate to see it go because that night against the Chargers, they wore their all-teal uniforms. It's one of the great visuals in my memory in Jaguars history. It was such an incredible second half. And I'll never forget it, and I would hate to see that go away. And I do think that as long as you're going to have divisions, that you might as well reward the division winner. If you want to do away with divisions and just have 16 teams in each conference,
right,
and take the 8 highest and do sort of an NBA kind of thing, well, fine. I guess if that's the way that you go. But I believe that if you're going to have the divisions and have 6 games against the division, and you want to generate the rivalry in a division like the AFC South, right, where there's not a natural rival. Tennessee's become one. Houston really isn't one, except they keep beating this team. And the Colts, but you created rivalries over the years in something that didn't really fit geographically or historically because of the division title. So I hate to see that go. But like I just said, I think like a lot of things, it probably will over time.
All right, Brian, we'll wrap up with this. We're asking Jaguar fans today, because today's the 1010XL golf tournament, if you were filling out your foursome, which 3 Jaguars from any era, past, present, and perhaps future, if they haven't signed their contract, would you want to play with? Now, you're not a big golfer, so you could take it as a dinner party. You could take it whatever. And I know you risk alienating some of the guys you've covered over the years. But give me 3 that spring to mind that would make for an interesting 4 or 5 hours.
Well, okay, so I'm going to leave the big 4 alone, right? I'm going to leave Brunel and Baselli and Fred and Jimmy off of it, because who wouldn't want to play with those guys, right? If I got to choose, number 1 is Mercedes Lewis, because he's one of my all-time favorites. Just a guy with great insight who cares about other people. I don't know if that means anything to your listeners, but he was always interested in what you were doing, right? If you were in Publix or if you were in the stands, he was interested in others. So I would take him right out of the gate. I would take Miles Jack. I just always loved playing with just being around Miles, because his personality was so incredible. And then I can't believe I'm forgetting his last name. He was a right tackle on the 17 team. Jeremy came from the Cowboys.
Parnell.
Jeremy Parnell. And I would take him because he would never do an interview with me in the locker room. And I would always want to talk to him, and he'd be like, I ain't talking to you, man. I got nothing to say. And I would go back occasionally just to sort of irritate him and aggravate him, because I thought maybe sometime he's going to do it. I hear, by the way, that he's doing exceptionally well post-football with a real estate career. And I write the Jaguars Legends alumni newsletter, and I've tried to track him down to tell the story. And he doesn't return my calls, and he's just still not interested in it. So I take it personally. So Jeremy Parnell would be one of those guys that I wanted to play with, because I figure between Miles Jack and Mercedes Lewis, he would laugh and tell stories.
Yeah, all right. I like it. You know what? We had him on Jaguars Today right after they signed him. And Parnell, we thought this guy's going to be a media darling because he was talking about, smacking the taste out of people's mouth, that kind of stuff. We're like, oh, fans are going to eat this guy up, and never heard another word from him the rest of the time he was in Jacksonville.
Don't take it personally. That's not his personality, but he was a good player on a good team. And I hate to let those – his name just split my mind because I'm getting old. But more than that, it was because I never really got to talk to him and know him. And I am enjoying reconnecting with the alumni in this role of writing this alumni newsletter. And I just think we have a nice history in 30 years of people. I'd love to tell the story. So I think it'd be fun on the golf course.
I like it. All right, Brian Sexton, senior correspondent at Jaguars.com, will have a sideline view of OTA practice today. My brother, I will see you when I can get over there. I'm over at Hidden Hills right now, and when I get off at noon, I'll be heading your way. So I appreciate you taking some time out and giving us some observations on rookie minicamp and other stuff.
Listen, I will always do it, and my middle son, Ryan, my almost 21-year-old, listens every single day. So I'm about to get a critique of everything I said, Mike.
Smartest Sexton in the family, I've always said, is Ryan Sexton.
No doubt.
All right,
Ryan,
brother.
not Brian.
Ryan, not Brian. Brian, I appreciate you, bro. I'll see you in about 90 minutes. Thanks for the time this morning.
Talk to you soon, Mike.
All right, there he goes, Brian Sexton, senior correspondent over at Jaguars.com. That's a good one. I saw somebody else mention Parnell this morning, Dylan. It was so long. Here he goes. Cersei, Parnell, and Cam Robinson. I dare anyone to heckle us about slow play. And I'm very happy I read that tweet earlier from Cobalt Blue because I'm the same. Like, you ask me a name. Who's the guy, Jeremy, at the last name? I will draw a blank like nobody's business, right? Like, I've never even watched this team before. And I was quite proud of myself for having pulled that one out at the last second there with Brian Sexton. All right, good stuff. We'll go around the league when we come back. Another quarterback got paid in a big, big way. Hayes Carline going to join us next hour. The Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day, you can give us some feedback on this, social media or otherwise, is who are the three Jaguars, past, present, whatever, that you would invite to fill out your golf foursome? In other words, three Jags that you'd like to spend 4 or 5 quality hours with. Have a little camaraderie, tell some stories, what have you. Let us know. This is Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
He's got room to run. 10, 5, we're now leaps. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
This is the home of your team. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Are you thinking about a pool for your home? Blue Haven Pools is Jacksonville's largest pool builder. They've built pools for over 20,000 satisfied families since 2000. It's never been easier to design the perfect pool for your home, family, and budget. Call Blue Haven Pools today at 904-620-0090 to get a free in-home estimate for your in-ground pool, or visit bluehaven.com. Don't let another summer pass by without a pool. Join thousands of happy Jacksonville pool owners in a Blue Haven pool.
Gun charges, drug charges. I'm attorney Malcolm Anthony, and I specialize in handling these types of felony cases. Stay out of trouble. But if you don't, call me at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Prosser here. It's a great time to sell your home, and I got just the people to sell it for you. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down, activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though. Hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize your hassle, that's the key. And I've been telling you who those experts are. Are you listening? I recommend Chad and Sandy Newman. Go to chadandsandy.com, the local real estate experts you can trust with the sale of your home. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. So whatever problems you think you have, I've got you this promise. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. There you go. Simple as that. Christopher on Anastasia Island. My home was too big for my needs. I wanted someplace smaller and easier to manage. I got multiple offers and sold in 3 days with Chad and Sandy. You can too at chadandsandy.com or 904-414-6200.
Dreamfinders Homes, Monday.
On Jaguars Today.
Hey there, Jacksonville. With scorching temperatures just around the corner, it's crucial to ensure your AC is blowing nice and cool. Duck Duck Air Conditioning is here to keep you comfortable all summer long. But don't wait until the heat gets here. Our service techs are ready right now to handle any cooling issues you may have at your home or business. Call Duck Duck AC today at 904-862-6769 to schedule. That's 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Online at duckduckac.com.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. E.T. here with 1010XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to, and it should be yours too. Online at kuhnflowers.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations providing advanced urological care to improve men's health and sexual vitality. Don't suffer through prostate, bladder, or kidney issues. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
The ultimate Pink Floyd experience is back. Rick Floyd returns, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd's legendary Wish You Were Here album. It's Brit Floyd, May 20th at Florida Theater. Tickets on sale now at floridatheater.com.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Southern Oak Insurance. Jacksonville, the wait is over. OTAs start today, and Travis Hunter is ready to make history. The number 2 pick is chasing a rare feat, becoming the NFL's first true two-way star in 6 decades. Florida Gators just pulled off a recruiting stunner. Jameer J.J. Perez, a 6'4", 360-pound force from Cleveland Glenville, chose the SEC over Ohio State. The powerhouse defensive tackle brings elite size, strength, and athleticism to the Swamp. And head coach Billy Napier is gearing up for a brutal schedule. Texas, Georgia, Miami. He just dropped insight for the kind of squad he's building to take them on.
You're really building a team that if you can get hot at the right time and get in and you're battle tested, then you can go the distance.
That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:02, it's 87 degrees. Time at 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, supposed to get up into the low 90s today here in beautiful Jacksonville, FLA. And I wouldn't know it, Dylan, because I'm inside in the air conditioning here at Hidden Hills while the rest of our 1010XL cohorts work the driving range and the chipping contest and all the different things we've got going on at the Guggen Golf Tournament today. They're sweating. Denmark and Dempsey are high and dry. Dylan back at World Headquarters, and I'm over here at Hidden Hills taking it all in from my perch out here, heading over to OTAs for the Jags. We'll have as full a report as I can give you tomorrow. Dylan, what do you think? We're debating Tuesday top five Jaguars that have the most on the line this offseason. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like that. OTAs, training camp now between, I guess it'd be the second week of September. I mean, like Sexton said with the offensive line, a lot of guys, you don't know who's playing what.
You can vote for the whole offensive line. There are your five right there if you want to. You're right. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has a lot to prove. Not that he is in danger of losing a starting job or anything like that, but in terms of who have the most on the line in terms of what to gain or to hold their position, we'll talk about that tomorrow. I'll send that out this afternoon on social media to remind you to get a little bit of a head start. All right, why don't we take a moment here and see if I can match Tony Smith in adeptly going around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
By the way, the answer is no, I cannot match him. Owners meetings going on this week. Dylan and I, along with Brian Sexton, discussed in hour one the proposal that they'll be voting on to change playoff seeding so that you win your division, you'll still automatically make the playoffs, but you'll be seeded based on your record, not based on the fact you won your division. As it stands right now, win the AFC South. At worst, you're the 4 seed in the NFL playoffs, and you're guaranteed a home playoff game under the new proposal that will be voted on. Whether it passes this year or not, there's momentum building towards it. It seems like it'll be strictly on record. Division winners will still win a tiebreak over a team with a similar record who got in as a wild card, even if they lost to that team head-to-head, but ultimately don't like it for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But, a lot of things I don't like, and I don't have a lot of say in them, and change seems inevitable there. Quarterback Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers have agreed to terms on a 5-year, $265 million deal. Purdy gets a full no-trade clause for the duration of the contract as well. Purdy was due $5.34 million in the upcoming final year of his rookie deal. Reminder, he was Mr. Irrelevant as the final pick in the NFL draft just a few years ago. He'll get now $181 million in total guarantees. That includes $165 million in the first 3 years of a deal that runs through 2030. The $265 million total value for the extension would rank Purdy 5th in the National Football League. The $53 million annual average is tied for 7th, according to the folks over at overthecap.com. And, Dylan and I were just talking about it here. Some in Purdy's camp think that he took a discount. What discount did he take here, Dylan? I don't see.
He's got the second most guaranteed money behind Deshaun Watson, which, I mean,
right.
Nobody's going to get that till at least next year, probably.
And that never backfires on anybody. I'm not saying it's the right move for San Francisco, but what do you do? You're kind of like in purgatory. Do you let a quarterback who has been good enough to help you get, granted with a very talented team, help you get to a Super Bowl? Not every quarterback could you have plugged into San Francisco and had the same level of success. If he doesn't miss Brandon Ayuk open in that Super Bowl, we may be looking at Brock Purdy completely differently as a guy who beat Patrick Mahomes head-to-head, but of course he didn't. And he's good. He's put up some good numbers. And the question is, is good the enemy of great? Well, you're locked into good. Can he be great for the San Francisco 49ers, particularly in an environment where their offensive skill players are turning over right before our eyes? Was still some talk that Brandon Ayuk, who's coming off the torn ACL, could be dealt at some point this offseason. That could elevate Ricky Pearsall to the number 1 or number 2 spot on that depth chart, along with Jawan Jennings. Deebo Samuel's already out the door. They know they'll have Kittle back. But Trent Williams getting older on that offensive line. There's a little bit of flux going on with San Fran, who had a down year last year. So, we'll see if he ends up being worth it. But as you look at what Trevor Lawrence was able to get, if you wait longer, Trevor Lawrence's price tag was not coming down unless you just decided you were not going to bring him back. And, look, we said it a bunch of times, and I get it. You can look, Gabe Davis, they decided to take a dead cap hit rather than have him on the roster because he wasn't going to factor in. Trevor's going to factor in. They knew it. When I say they, Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and obviously Tony Baselli. I think Tony, the chance to be executive vice president has taken that job regardless of who the quarterback is. But I don't know if you're Liam Cohen, if you're taking this job, let's say, if you didn't have that position answer. Let's say you instead had the fifth pick in the draft this year to address the quarterback position, and you're staring at the likes of Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart. Imagine that in hindsight. Had the Jags been in that position and gone Shedeur Sanders at 5, knowing now that he went 5 in terms of rounds, the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns. But look, again, I do believe that they want to run the ball to help protect Trevor, improve the offensive line. But I think that Liam Cohen sees a bunch of raw talent in that guy. And again, they took Baker Mayfield from a career-high 28 touchdown passes to 41 in Tampa last year. Hopefully he'll have a similar impact on Trevor Lawrence. Going back, Dylan, quickly, we got Hayes Carline coming up in a few minutes. I found 5 teams in the Super Bowl era that made the playoffs with a losing record, meaning they won their division, automatically got in to the postseason. You got to go back to 82 for a couple of them, though. That was a strike-shortened season. They only played 9 games, and a pair of 4 and 5 teams made it in. The Cleveland Browns in the AFC and Detroit in the NFC. Cleveland took on the Raiders, and ultimately the Raiders put up 510 yards on them and were able to win that game, and so they advanced. So the 4 and 5 Browns did not win a game. Detroit got in with a 4 and 5 record. They took on the eventual Super Bowl champion at that time the Washington Redskins and lost 31-7. Seattle, remember the Beastquake game, went 7-9. To me, that's one of the great playoff memories I have of a team that I didn't care one way or another what happened to the outcome of the game, right? You had the New Orleans Saints defending Super Bowl champs. You had that amazing run by Marshawn Lynch to dub the Beastquake, where he broke like 7 tackles, and the noise level was off the charts up there, and Seattle pulled off the upset win over the defending Super Bowl champs. You had another one you might have forgotten about. The 2014 Carolina Panthers got in with a 7-8-1 record. They won the NFC South in that one. The Panthers, however, won that game. They allowed a playoff low, all-time playoff low of 78 yards of offense by the Arizona Cardinals in that game, and Carolina was able to go on and win that one. And, of course, Dylan reminded me the first one he thought of was the 2020 Washington football team losing to the Bucs. So it's been a mixed bag at best. 2 of the 5 teams that got in with a losing record were able to win. That means the other 3 didn't. Again, if you're that superior and you didn't win your division, I feel like you should be able to go on the road against a team with a losing record. And, okay, that's almost a gift. Okay, yeah, we got to go on the road, but we're going to take on a team that won less than half of its games. I think it'll be a shame, but probably when you start hearing about these things having any kind of momentum, doesn't look like it's going to pass this week, but it's something we're going to be monitoring the next several off seasons until it probably does eventually get accepted by the National Football League owners. Coming up next, we've got the Hammer, Hayes Carline from the Frangie Show. He'll be down at Jaguars OTA practice today and then out here broadcasting at the 18th Annual Guggen Open at Hidden Hills Golf Club. Mike Dempsey here. No Tony Smith this week. He's on vacation. Dylan Denmark back at World Headquarters. We'll welcome in the Hammer. Talk more Jags with him on the other side. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
All right, everybody up. Come on, hands in. Yeah. Come on, everybody. Let's go out and kick some butt. Here we go. On 3.
92.5 FM.
Hi, folks. It's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's Glass. There's
beautiful custom glass shower enclosures, maybe a new mirror, a glass tabletop. They can even replace your foggy or cracked glass without having to replace the whole window. Lee & Cates is local. They're family-owned. They've been a part of our community since 1926. Boy, they've taken care of me, including our brand new offices at Walk-Off Charities. They did a great job. I promise they'll do the same for you. Visit LeeandCatesGlass.com.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Jaguars Today Monday is built by Dream Finders Homes.
Official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results. I'm Brendan from Checkmate Coatings. Our precision coatings make your floors the MVP of any space. Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
This Memorial Day, Navy Mutual would like to salute Pittsburgh Pirates Hall of Famer Roberto Clemente. Beloved in the baseball world, it shouldn't be forgotten that Clemente was a private first class in the United States Marine Corps for almost 10 years of his baseball career.
Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com. Powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Friends, we have a very special guest on the line.
The Checkmate Coatings phone line is where the action happens.
Where's the phone? Over there.
Get expert interviews and listener opinions all day, every day, from the drill all the way to Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Divorce changes your life and your children's lives. Whether that change is good or bad depends to a great extent upon the attorney you choose. So interview more than one attorney and ask about experience, specifically trial experience. And oh, by the way, be sure to include Cordell & Cordell in those interviews.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Jacksonville area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com, Jacksonville, Florida. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Announcer is not a licensed attorney.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res 28757 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit cssoutdoor.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Jaguars
All right.
Today on 1010XL.
You can't touch this.
Hammer time. Hayes Carline, the hammer. Jaguars news. That's the nail. Hayes Carline's the hammer. He'll tell you all about it. He'll drive it right into your skull if necessary. Hayes, I'm sure, will be out there at OTA practice today and probably is at the Miller Electric Center if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure about that, though. Hayes, good morning. How are you? Where are you right now?
Good morning, Mike. How are you? There's a little bit of traffic on 95 North, so I'm not quite there yet, and if you can avoid the area, I would. It's pretty backed up starting about a mile before you get to Bowden if you're on 95 North. So anyway, I'll be there shortly, but yeah, if you can avoid the area, I probably would. I'm not sure exactly what happened.
All right. Well, now, Hayes, we're asking people today which 3 Jaguars from any era would you invite to play with you to fill out your golf foursome? You're not a big golfer, is that right?
I am not a big golfer. I played as a kid, but I don't have the patience for it. But, I mean, I love the majors and obviously love being out with the players and stuff like that. But, yeah, I do not play any golf at all.
All right. Well, now that I know that, you're number 1 on my list of the 3 Jaguar reporters that I would invite to play with me, and bring your wallet as well.
Yeah. It'd be a good day for you.
Bro, I am always on the lookout for guys I can beat in golf, Hayes. It's not always an easy task to come up with 3 in a given week. All right, let's talk a little Jag football today. It's OTA, so we get the whole group together. This is not full-blown, full contact. Hayes, what are you hoping to see this afternoon from the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I think just cohesiveness and, athleticism. You're obviously not going to be able to see anything physical. So, you just, I'd be interested to see the wrinkles of Liam Cohen in terms of what they're installing. And, that'll be good. But just really, kind of just seeing how the practice flows and how it's organized and things like that, which I'm sure will be fine. But you never know. We have had coaches before that it's like they're doing what? So anyway, so we'll see. But I think in just seeing the new additions, getting a sense of, athletically what they bring to the table and getting another, close-up look at the draft class. But to me, the big thing is Trevor Lawrence throwing to Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. So if this team is going to surprise and win, 10 or more games, you got to think that connection is going to be a special one on both sides of the field. So, you want to see early signs of that. And by the way, I can't give you an answer. I would play with Blake Bortles, Calais Campbell, and Paul Posluszny if I had to go play 18 holes of golf with 3 Jaguars.
Just 3 guys you enjoyed covering, I take.
Yeah, just great dudes.
All right, cool. A lot of people have mentioned several of those. Certainly Calais and Bortles getting tons and tons of votes this morning as well. We'll circle back to some of the new guys. Hayes, tomorrow for our Tuesday Top 5, we're going to ask who are the 5 Jaguars with the most on the line, most to prove this offseason. Where does Trevor Lawrence fit in that? We know he's the incumbent starter. The contract dictates that he'll likely be that for quite a while. But, we're at the point now for some, we're past the point of no excuses. You've got a new offensive-minded head coach who really took Baker Mayfield to new heights. You've got the weapons. You've got an investment in the offensive line and the running back room. How much pressure is on Trevor Lawrence to put it all together? Not necessarily this offseason, but to have that kind of year in 2025.
I think it's massive. I think he's number one on the list. I mean, he's obviously in no danger of losing his spot, but in terms of, fulfilling his expectations that he has for himself individually and what he, wants to see happen for this team, I think it's a huge year. I mean, obviously they're laying a foundation, so you'd like to think it'll get even better in year 2 or year 3, but under Liam Cohen. But you definitely need to see, some idea of improvement and him elevating to being, one of the better starting quarterbacks in the league. I don't know that he'll get to, that top, 5 status, but I think it's a big year. I do give Trevor a lot of the benefit of the doubt because I think he's been dealt a bad hand of cards since he was drafted. I think the coaching staff has really only been there for him 1 year, and that was Doug Peterson's first year. Then I think it got south pretty quick in terms of stagnation. So I don't think he's really had a great environment. Now I think he does. I mean, I think Liam Cohen has shown the killer instinct that you have to be a head coach, a effective winning head coach at this level. And I think that obviously we've seen his offensive acumen and the talent around Trevor Lawrence should be a lot better than it's ever been. I mean, I'm a big believer in Travis Hunter. Obviously, we saw what Brian Thomas Jr. did last year. The league will counterpunch him, to some extent, but I don't think it's going to do anything to greatly slow him down. And I like where the offensive line should be better. The running game should be more reliable. So I think it's all there. Again, I'm sure there's going to be other levels of the offense that they can get to, Liam and Trevor, in year 2 together when they have an off season to sort of review everything. But I mean, I think there's a lot of pressure. It'd be hard for me to give Trevor the benefit of the doubt if he comes in this season at 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Like, to me, that's not where at this stage he should be. I think that you should see some of the effect that Baker Mayfield had when he got with Liam Cohen.
Right, and Baker had been a pretty good quarterback, but he took a massive jump in his high-end stats, about 450 more yards than his previous career high, 13 more touchdowns than he had thrown for in a season. So, again, he doesn't have to match those. Trevor doesn't, but I'd like to see, like you said, a major step in that direction. If I gave you the offensive line today, Hayes, of Walker Little and Ezra Cleveland, Robert Hainsey, Patrick McCarry, Anton Harrison, what's your confidence level? How many of those guys are you very confident will open the season as starters on that offensive line?
I'll give Walker Little 51% chance. I'll give Ezra Cleveland 7% chance.
7. Okay.
I'll give Hainsey 95% chance. Again, assuming everybody's healthy.
Sure.
Hainsey 95%, McCarry 98%, and Anton Harrison 80%.
80. Okay. Interesting. If it's not, and I think you're anticipating Wyatt Milam then beating out Ezra Cleveland, I would presume, at the left guard spot. Who out of the candidates that they have is the biggest challenge? If Walker Little's 51%, that means he's basically a coin flip. Is it Anton maybe taking the left spot and somebody else playing right, or is it somebody else playing left? And who is that top candidate that you'll have your eye on throughout the offseason that you think might emerge as the biggest challenger to start at one of the tackle spots?
Yeah, I mean, there's great early buzz on Fred Johnson. So, I mean, I think to me, he's the primary challenger. I kind of like what you're suggesting. I mean, my thing would be move Anton to left and then have Walker Little and Fred Johnson compete at right. We'll get some indications as this goes on, where they're at with this. Because in OTAs, you can experiment. A lot of coaches like to do that, but you don't normally do it when you're in your first year. Because you've got to lay that foundation and you've got to get the team ready for week 1, which in the coach's eyes is much closer than maybe the fans, see it as. So, I don't think there's going to be a lot of smoke and mirrors with their lineup in OTAs and in the mandatory minicamp. I mean, yes, this is a time, and I'm sure when Liam Cohen is asked about it at the podium, I'm sure there will be an element to his answer of, look, it's fluid. We just got here. We're trying to figure some things out. But in terms of experimenting with, like, guys playing different positions, but you're not really planning on that being where they're going to end up, that's more of a year 2, year 3 thing for a staff. So, I think you'll be able to read into it early. So I think we'll get an indication pretty soon if Anton Harrison is maybe in the plan at left. But if they stay with how it's traditionally been, I would say Fred Johnson and Walker Little compete at left tackle and Anton Harrison's at right. But I'd rather see Anton Harrison at left tackle.
All right, well, you're out there at every practice, right? So I'd like to somehow come up with a way to incentivize you to, as often as you can, in the media availabilities for Liam Cohen, to ask specifically about offensive line combinations. Because if he says it, we can talk about it. Right?
That's right.
So otherwise, right, we're not supposed to be like –
we play here.
Exactly. So tell us about your thoughts on the different guys you're running out there at left tackle today. We're not saying who it was unless you say it, but feel free to say it,
right.
Liam. Last one for you, Hayes. No, so whatever you need for me to give you a little incentive booster, I'd be happy to provide that to make sure we get a steady stream of that. Other than Travis Hunter and Wyatt Milam, who I'm assuming you think has a big chunk of that 93% chance to start in place of Ezra Cleveland, who's the rookie that will surprise this year with the size of their impact based on what you think the fan base feels at the moment?
I'll say the surprise is Bashal Tootin runs for 1,000 yards.
How about that? Okay.
Yeah. So I'll say Tootin grabs control of that job pretty quick. I don't know if it'll be before we get to, like, the third week of training camp. So, I'm thinking, like, second week of August. But I think by the second week of August, it'll be clear that he's their back.
All right. Well, you know what? Fourth-round pick worked out pretty well for the Bucs last year at that position as well, with Bucky Irving, and particularly in the second half of the year. We'll see how it plays out. But plenty of newness to keep our eyes on out there at OTA practice number 1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Hayes, the Hammer Carline, will be out there chronicling all of it. Hayes, appreciate your time this morning. I will, if the traffic allows, hopefully see you in about an hour myself.
Yes, I look forward to it. Hope you have a smooth ride and great talking with you.
All right, brother. There he goes. Hayes Carline. The Hammer at Hayes Carline is where you'll find him, of course, CARLYON on social media, and you'll hear him on the Frangie Show this and every weekday afternoon. I'm live at Hidden Hills for the 18th annual Guggen Golf Tournament here at 1010XL. We've got Helmets and Heels coming up at the top of the hour. Before we get there, Dylan and I will take a look at the Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day. Which 3 Jaguars all time, including the current crop, would we choose to invite for our dream golf foursome of hanging out for 4 or 5 or 6 hours? If you're playing in a tournament, you better count on 6.5 these days. That's what it seems like. But we'll answer that, and we'll look at some of your responses when we return in a moment. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Apex Roofing and Contracting. You don't wait until it's hurricane season to get your roof hurricane ready. You take your assessment, you go to Apex Roofing and Contracting at Jacksonville Beach, and you get it done right now. If your roof's got damage, leaks, if it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local. They're dependable. They're going to show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress. Reach for the peak. That's Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach, or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. What are the many ways to experience 1010XL?
Why don't we just take it from the top?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow-ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
This is Hayes Carline, and I'm so proud of my guy, Leon Searcy.
Man, I used to want to eat all the time, but just 1 month on physician-guided weight loss, and I've already dropped 15 pounds.
And I lost 25. No side effects, just results.
The GLP-1 curbs my cravings and keeps me feeling full. It's been easier than I expected, and I feel amazing.
Their staff is great, and best of all, no surprise cost.
If you're ready to bring sexy back this summer, visit pgweightloss.com.
Physician-guided weight loss, safe, doctor supervised.
And it works.
Enhance your home with Renewal by Anderson's superior craftsmanship and timeless design. Right now, buy 2 windows or patio doors and get the third at 60% off. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires May 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Dreamfinders Homes Monday on Jaguars Today.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. Have you been charged with a crime? You don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW in the 904.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low 5s, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
I'm Max Fink, and I'll bring you the Gator Report several times weekly to keep you connected to Gainesville.
The Gator Report, put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Listen all day as 1010XL gives you news, notes, and analysis of organized team activities as they get ready for the upcoming season. Our coverage of OTAs is hoisted by Heroes Lawn Care and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Hey, Hicken here, and you know I'm going to talk about skin. Yeah, it's hot outside, folks. The oven is on. Temps are in the 90s, and it's only getting hotter. I love the summer, but my skin doesn't. I do my best with dry fit shirts, big floppy hats, plenty of water. My secret weapon, though, the sunscreen. I use it regularly. Maybe you should as well. Look, I've also been seeing docs at Peaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. I'm telling you, it could save your life. Book your appointment today at peachesdermatology.com.
No matter what the reason, sending a floral arrangement from Kuhn Flowers always works. For unique and special gifts, visit their showroom on Beach Boulevard. Dylan Denmark here with 1010XL. Kuhn Flowers is my go-to and should be yours. Online at kuhnflowers.com.
What was George Washington's salary when he was president?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
George Washington's annual salary as president was $25,000, about $4.5 million in today's dollars.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Oh, cooling down. Well, I don't need to cool down, Dylan. They got me inside, which is fantastic. We were out on the deck last year under the tent, which is great, too. It's not a big deal. We play golf for hours out in the hot sun. I could certainly sit under a tent for a couple of hours, but it was more my delight that Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser were melting out there this morning, and I'm just in the cozy AC up here at Hidden Hills. Very nice. Helmets and Heels coming up at the top of the hour. Jack O'Brien, who basically puts together a lot of the goodies that go along with the tournament, sets up the whole sponsorships, all that kind of stuff, just ran and got me a dandy cranberry chicken salad sandwich for lunch, which is nice. I appreciate my folks at Dandy, but come on now. Where's the tuna on that truck? They got the whole truck full of sandwiches out here. Jack didn't dig very deep, but you know what? It makes me broaden my horizons. Everything from Dandy. Absolutely excellent. All right, I got the full Helmets and Heels crew here now live at Hidden Hills, so we'll get to that coming up, Dylan. Why don't we get to today's 10-10 take, taking a look at the question of the day.
10-10.
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
All right, today we're asking you, we generally do this kind of an annual tradition that we ask you since we're out at the Guggen Golf Tournament, who are the 3 Jaguars, past, present, future? I guess, would Travis Hunter be a present and a future? I guess he would be. That you'd want to fill out your golf foursome with. In other words, which 3 Jags would you like to spend 4 to 6 hours with, hanging out, talking, maybe playing a little golf, knocking in a few putts, what have you. Denmark, I think you and I will have vastly different lists. So I'll go to you first because I'm going to be a little bit chalkier than some. Who you got? Who are the 3 guys you want to play golf with?
All right, I'm going to go Josh Scobie. Because he's the better golfer and he's a little bit of a personality, but we're going to use his ball the entire time.
Okay, so you're thinking a scramble now is what you're thinking. Yeah.
So we're going to have
that
fun.
That factors in.
Yeah, we're going to have fun, and we're going to try to have a good score. So I got Scobie. I'm going to go Blake Bortles for the personality. And most quarterbacks are good golfers. I've learned this. Most Division I quarterbacks and guys I play in the NFL, like Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, are usually good golfers.
Yeah.
And Bortles, we all know his personality. And I'll give you a wild card. I'm going to go Jeremy Mincy, defensive lineman. I just remember him coming on the station a couple of years ago. He would come on a couple of times, and the stories he would tell they would have you on the floor rolling. So I'm good with him for the personality, and we're going to have fun. Have 4 or 5 hours, a lot of fun.
You're gatoring up on that too, which certainly your prerogative to do. I'm going to gator up on it because I'm going to, of course, have Freddie T, and I'm going to have MJD. I played more golf with MJD than any Jaguar past or present, and MJD thinks he's the best at literally everything. I'm not sure how that would play out when he's riding in a cart with Fred. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm sorry, man. I got to have Travis Hunter, Dylan. How do you not have Travis Hunter in that group? How do you not want to spend 4 or 5 hours with that guy, as hot as he is right now with his personality? But I get it. Like, didn't Blake play in the Tahoe tournament at least once at some point? The one that they always end up playing in the celebrity tournament out there? I think he did. I don't know if he did well at all, but I think he did play in that.
Yes, he did. 2015.
Okay. I think he...
According to this one website.
Yeah, I don't think he played particularly well, but, he'd be a great... plenty of people mentioning...
He finished 76 at a celebrity golf tournament.
76 out of what? 76 or 70 or 80 or what? We couldn't have been much more than that, I bet.
Yeah.
So whatever. Hey, probably better than I would be out there. Are you kidding me? Especially, I finished 76th in our foursome on Saturday. It felt like anyway. Let's see. Tim went with Natron Means. That's interesting because a lot of this you tell on yourself basically based on your era. Natron, Wydell, and Brunell from back in the 90s squads. Aaron goes with Tom McManus, Blake Bortles, and Scobie. You're going to get a lot of Scobie. Now, I'll totally pivot off my trio, by the way, if it's a scramble, because I'm going to win and I want to coast on somebody's ball. If that were the case, Dylan, I would say, we're down at LPGA. Dylan and I went down on Saturday and played down there, and it reminded me, I saw Robert Saleh just kind of randomly playing down there once, and I said, "Oh, who are you down here with?" He was with Brian Walters. Remember the little slot receiver the Jaguars had a few years back, and he's like, this guy, Walters. And Walters is like 2 foot nothing, right? He's a tiny little, the Wes Welker mold of slot receiver. And he's like, oh, no. He goes, effortless 320. Like, this is just one of those guys that make you sick to play with. And so, I would probably throw him in there with Scobie and like any other specialist because that's all they do. They kickers, punters, they do like 10 of what they do at practice, and then they stand around pantomiming their golf swing most of the time. A lot of people split it up. Solbert said, old school, give me Mercedes, Greg Jones, and MJD. New school, give me Trevor, Brian Thomas, and Josh Hines Allen. So there's some of that mixed up. The Cat, the original Cat, Curtis Dvorak, got some love in here as well. He's a very good golfer. So the legend holds. Fred Taylor, Bortles, and Scobie. A lot of people with Scobie. MJD, Taylor, and Trevor. Let's see the interesting outliers. I already mentioned Cersei, Jeremy Parnell, and Cam Robinson. I got this one. Somebody's thinking, I'm going to party with Justin Blackmon, Matt Jones, and Big Hen. I feel like that's slander for Big Hen. Big Hen, John Henderson, probably a hell of a fun guy to party with. I don't know if he's on those other guys' levels, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we got one on the text line, Bortles, Blackmon, Matt Jones. He says it's going to be lit.
It probably would be. And Blake will be ripping cigs out there. And who was his buddy, Colton? Was that his pal? His friend Colton? You remember that from we'll have to – I'm pretty sure it was Colton. Remember that clip he had about his buddy Colton? Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Greg Jones – all right, Tony would. Tony would know exactly what I'm talking about. Greg Jones, Logan Cook, Calais getting a lot of love out here.
Apparently, someone on the text line said Rasheed Mathis can stripe it. News to me.
I believe it because I saw Rasheed. Yeah, he started going to like Southampton, and you see him out there all the time. And what do you've made a few $1,000,000. You're retired. What do you have to do? But these guys are hyper competitive. Rasheed is pretty good. Ernest Wilford played a lot of golf, too, in his post-playing day. I think a lot of them do. It's just the way it goes. Several top 3 non-players, Wayne Weaver, Tom Coughlin, Shad Khan. All right.
That's a very corporate group.
Right? Like, it's fine. Whatever. It's your list, man. Yurko getting some love. Do you have any memories of John Yurkovich?
No, sir.
Okay, he was a popular. He was like the everyman for the '90s era Jaguars. So Rasheed, Tommy Mack for the stories. Cam Little, I guarantee you, Cam Little can hit a mile. All the specialists, man, they can absolutely do it. This might have been the best one though. Gonna switch them out at the turn. Got Henderson, Baselli, and Taylor on the front 9. MJD, Trevor Lawrence, and Travis Hunter on the back 9.
Travis Hunter would probably bring his fishing pole with his golf clubs, and then he would camp out a spot for 10 minutes when it's backed up.
Well, you know what? Bring a golfer's fishing pole, a.k.a. ball retriever, man. You know what? We could have lined our pockets with enough balls to – you play a nice enough course, like people have enough money – that they don't care. Oh, they hit a Pro V1 in the lake. They're like, I'll just drop another one, and you can do quite well for yourself in those occasions. St. Augustine Shores, I don't find too many random Pro V1s, but I'll come back with a bag of Ultras on any given day. That is for sure. All right, tomorrow, just a little prime in the pump for you here. Tomorrow is Tuesday Top 5. We're going to do the top 5 Jaguars with the most on the line or the most to prove, the most to lose, however you want to look at it this offseason. In other words, or I guess you can look at it as well, the most to gain, right? It's not only, hey, I'm trying to protect my starting spot. I could be coming for somebody else's starting spot, for instance. So let us know tomorrow who your top 5 Jaguars are that you think have a bunch on the line this offseason, and we'll go through those tomorrow. Jeff Loggeman is scheduled to join the program tomorrow. I haven't talked to Logs in a little while. I'm sure I will see him out there at OTA practice today as well, and we'll probably get a few more targets of opportunity coming along the way throughout the course of the week based on whoever I run into out there at OTAs. Taylor Dahl is back She's going to sit down. I think she missed the opportunity to do crosstalk over the last week, so she raced right up to the table this morning. So let's play in helmets and heels, Dylan.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Good morning, Taylor Dahl.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm going to ease you back into your return. First of all, that was the easy one. Okay.
Yeah, the good morning.
Now the second one, right? Was how are you? Great. You're great. Okay. Here's the second one.
Mhm.
Why does your quarterback hate the Bears?
He does not. He does not. But first of all, going back to that, like, who would want to play for the Bears as a quarterback with everybody they've ruined? So I'm not mad at him in that sense. And then if you go through, obviously, and read the article, he goes, after he had that pre-draft meeting, he said, like, I can fix this. I want to be the person to fix this, da-da-da. But
Yeah, fixing
I
it
wouldn't
means
want to go play.
Shane Waldron got to go.
Yes.
Right?
And I'm sure I reported stuff pretty early into the off season of things that I had heard of what were going on, and now those all just went viral. So it's kind of funny that I said that stuff 3.5 months ago, and it's just going out there. But
It is funny how that works,
Yeah.
right? Like Baselli came on and told us last week that they were going to go all the prowlers all the time, whenever they could wear them as many times as possible. Stay tuned, right, for the future and making them the permanent uniforms. And then he goes on to NFL Network, and then, Tony Baselli weighs in on the alternate uniforms. Oh, did he? Yes, he did.
We did it first.
2 days ago is when he did. So gorgeous out there.
Oh my gosh, it is. I'm glad we're in the AC though.
Right?
Because
That's what I was going to say.
Mike, I've been at Rockville the last few days, and it was
Ooh.
like 95 degrees, no clouds, very hot. So I like the air condition right now.
Who was the best act, your favorite act of Rockville?
There was several that I really liked. There's a band called Silverstein that I haven't seen in a long time, and they probably put on one of the best shows. There's also another band called Bill Murray, but it's spelled Bilmuri. They were fantastic. They have a girl that plays the saxophone. She plays saxophone, flute, and sings in this band, and she's fantastic. And I'm a big horn section type of person. But yeah, so there was a lot of good stuff. It was just, my feet hurt, and I'm glad to be in the AC right now.
We're glad to have you back. You can't, good flautist makes the band, is what they say. Jethro Tull and
make the shirt.
And Bill Murray. Those are the two right there at the peak. All right, what is coming up today for Helmets and Heels?
Yeah, we're going to, since I was not here last week, to go over the schedule. Once the schedule already came out, they made their predictions. So I'll go through some of the things that stick out in the schedule for me. We'll also do just a little look around sports in general, NBA playoffs. There was some WNBA drama we'll get into. We'll talk some Scotty Scheffler winning again. So a little bit around the sports world in general today.
Yeah, that honestly, this would have been like, all the many years I did a solo show on whatever sport I wanted to talk about. We didn't get to the WNBA all that often, but I would have been getting to it today. It was a juicy little one this weekend. Way to start the season off, ladies. I love it. All right. Hey, have a great show.
Thanks, Mike.
Coming up. Good to have you back. Hope you enjoyed Rockville. Taylor Dahl and the Helmets and Heels crew coming up for the next couple of hours out here. That includes, of course, Mia O'Brien, who I think is going to depart about halfway through, taking a little OTAs, and you'll hear some of her interviews tomorrow. Lauren Brooks will be along as well. Today, I appreciate Brian Sexton and Hayes Carline from joining me on their way to OTA practice. And E.T., of course, who now is toiling at the chipping green, hoping I saw somebody celebrating a few minutes ago, Dylan, like they might have holed one there. So that is possible. Did you hear what the heck was the stat I heard yesterday that there were 208 holeouts or something from off the green at the PGA? That includes every chip, and I think that includes anything from the fringe as well. But 208? That's insane, right? I guess those guys are good. When's the last time you holed out from off the green, Dylan? Can you remember?
Ooh, it was at Hyde Park. It was the #1 handicap, and I birdied it. It was about 2 years ago.
Was it a chipper or a Texas wedge, or what did you do? Chipped it?
It was a 56 degree. Yeah,
I know that club well.
One and only chipping.
All right, my brother. Well, great job by you today. Tomorrow, top five Jaguars with something on the line this off season. We'll frame it in the exact way we're going to do it and post it on social media later on this afternoon. I'm headed out to practice. Thanks to everybody with 1010XL that does all the hard work to put on these golf tournaments, and appreciate particularly Dandy Food providing my lunch today. All right, that's going to do it for me. Tony Smith's got the week off. I'm Mike Dempsey for Dylan Denmark and all the aforementioned. We're done. Helmets and Heels is coming up next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.